Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my card review on Ice Dragon's Prison. But before we start, friendly reminder to like and subscribe because it motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. And yeah, so Ice Dragon's Prison is a normal trap card in Rise of the Duelist, and the effect is basically you can special summon one monster from your opponent's graveyard. Doesn't specify attack or defense, so I'm going to return on this later on, and then negate its effect if any. So whatever, if it's a vanilla monster, then obviously there's nothing to negate. And then you can banish. So you don't have to. You can banish two monsters on the field. So one from each player's board that have the same type. And then you can only activate this card once per turn. The fact, once again, that it says activate is relevant, not you can only use. So if you draw like 2 or 3 copies of this, it's not necessarily bad, because it ensures that you actually have a 100% chance of outing Dragoon. And yes, this card does out Dragoon, and this is why I'm making a video on it, because it might be a hidden gem that people are sleeping on. I think right now it's like $7 or something, like max, I mean Canadian. But I think this might actually just skyrocket to like a huge amount, so if I were you, I'd probably pick up like multiple copies of this card. So basically, at first sight, this card doesn't really seem too good because it looks situational. You have to banish 2 monsters that actually have the same type. So what if your opponent is playing like a there can only be one strategy? Every monster has a different type. Now, there are some cool things about, like, some really cool intricacies. What is that even a term? Whatever, my English sucks, you already know that. There are a few, like, interesting, cool things about this card that allows you to kind of take advantage of the system in a way, because the monster that you have to bring, that you're bringing back with this trap, it's not necessarily that monster that you have to banish. It's just you can banish any monster on your field as long as it's the same type as the monster that you're banishing from your opponent's field. For example, my opponent had no Spellcaster monster in their graveyard, and I really want to banish their Winda. So what I would do is that I can, for example, like normal summon a DD Crow or like any monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! And make, well, if it's a DD Crow, then I can make a Nima, which is even easier because it could also steal like something else and then jump over something. But if it's just any normal summon, for example, I can make like Clara and Rushka, which is a spellcaster. Obviously, it's on main phase too, but this is a trap card, so it's especially good going second, I feel like. I mean, yeah, I'm like the kind of weird guy that thinks that trap cards are better in going second decks than in going first decks. Don't question me too much, that's my logic with Cyber Dragons. Yeah, I know. But yeah, you're pretty much going to make Clara and Rushka, which is a spellcaster, and now you finally have something that matches the spellcaster type of Winda that is, you know, on your opponent's field. So now you can special summon like anything from your opponent's graveyard. It can be whatever, like Mukaba or something, and then you banish your Anima or like your Clara, and then you banish the Winda, and they don't get anything back because, once again, it is banishing and non-targeting removal, which is the best thing ever, man. Just being able to out Dragoon is already like great. And the fact that it's a normal trap card means that it is searchable by Trap Trick, which is even greater. And I don't think anything else searches it. Oh man, yo, Ice Barrier Structure deck, yo guys, yo, Konami, yo, please do us some, you know, some cool, please do us charity and actually like give us a card that allows us to like search this and like I don't know, like a 1-card triple Trishula. That would be very fair, obviously. But yeah, so I'm going to actually explain why I think that this card is a hidden gem. So first of all, try to think of all the good decks in the meta right now, right? There is a Eldritch, for example. The example number 1 is already, we're off to a great start. So let's just say your opponent has like Eldritch the Golden Lord in the grave, and they're trying to use the grave effect, right? So they are sending like a spell trap from the spell and trap zone to the grave, and then, you know, you chain this. You special summon back their Eldritch, so already the worst case scenario is that you get to keep their Eldritch, which is already good, because it has 2800 defense, you can sponge a lot of damage with that. But the best case scenario is that you banish the Eldritch that you just stolen, alongside any other zombie on their field. So for example, they have like Conquistador, Haquero Guardian, or another Eldritch. So yeah, one trap card that can actually banish 2 Eldritch? Where have I seen this before? Oh yeah, Karma Cut, but this card doesn't target. Yeah, doesn't target, doesn't discard? Pretty good. It just feels like a better DD Crow, to be honest. I mean, you're always stealing an opponent's monster from their graveyard, so that's already like the DD Crow-esque aspect of the card. but then it just gets better from there because it can kind of serve as like a simplified game state crackdown, which, like, you know, you steal the monster, you maybe do some cool stuff with it. I mean, if you're playing Guru, this card is like an instant 3 of, obviously, because you can steal like a really powerful monster and then Book of Moon it, and then when you flip it, it no longer has like its effect negated. It becomes like the real deal. So I don't know, there are some actually nasty things that you can do with this. Obviously in Guru, I don't think you're going to be able to like match the type of your opponent's monster, so you really have to be like special summoning the kind of monster that they possess. I'm really getting mixed up with everything. But yo, one deck where this kind of problem will never exist is Zombie World decks. Now, this is actually a double-edged sword in Zombie World decks, because if you're playing like a zombie deck and you're not actually playing this trap card, then this trap card can only do like really bad things to you, because regardless of how you play, this is always going to affect you in a really negative way. I mean, imagine, man, they can steal your Doom King and then banish your Doom King and then like banish whatever your uni zombie so you can't play, or like banish whatever target. Oh, you can actually steal the target with Mizuki even if they control like no monster. So that's actually kind of neat. It's like the kind of trap card that I feel will have like so much impact on the game that it forces people to like always play around it in a way. I mean, if they're trying to use their graveyard, then they have to make sure that they don't really control monsters with the same type as the kind of monster that they're trying to use like hardcore from their graveyard. I mean, now if you're using Eldritch from your graveyard, you're gonna be like, ooh, I already have an Eldritch on the field. Nah, I'm going to wait. It's like the kind of thing where your opponent goes like, chain this, and if you're a really good player and you had like a Scarlet or a White Fate all this time, then you can chain it. But if you activate this and then they chain like Ice Dragon's Prison, then you're like completely screwed. So it definitely does add like a dynamic of deck building, skill, execution, like judgment and stuff like that to the game, which is good. It allows people to like make a comeback in like really tricky situation, which is also good. And another thing that I wanted to mention since the beginning of the video was the fact that since that this card does not specify that you can revive the monster in attack or defense, means that you can special summon Link monsters, because yes, Link monsters cannot be in defense. A lot of people, when they read stuff like that, they don't really care too much about like the small details, like back to the front, revive back a monster in defense. Some people are like, oh, this is basically Monster Reborn. There's no difference. It's just like, yeah, sure, your monster is in defense, but that's it. Not really. It definitely does shut down like the door on a lot of things. The fact that you can no longer summon Link monsters. For example, this, you can still summon Link monsters, so whatever. I mean, if you're playing against like Orchist and they go like Symbol Skeleton, revive back Galatea, then you can steal the Galatea that they're trying to revive. Just a really bad example, but I can think of like just so many decks that actually lose to this, to a certain extent at least. Like, just imagine how disgusting this would be against Salamangreat in like more than one way. So if they go like normal Spinny or like Jaguar and then make Veilinx and then special Gazelle, then you can do two things. You can either use it right now, banish their Jaguar or Spinny in their grave, and then banish the Gazelle, because, you know, both are Cybers, which is like nasty. They lose their Gazelle like permanently, man. Banish, it's nuts. Banishing is just overpowered. Yo, banishing face down is like the best, but yeah, still. And also, you know, usually banishing could have flaws because it can lose to Lancia, but it's a trap card that you can use during your opponent's turn, and you cannot get Lancia during like while you're playing on their turn. Like, Lancia is a card that can only be used during the opponent's turn, so you know. But yeah, you can either do that, what I just mentioned, like the Spinny Gazelle thing, or you can wait until they have two Sunlight Wolves, like one in the graveyard and one on the field, after the reincarnate Link, whatever, I don't even know the term, and then you summon the Sunlight Wolf that you just that they just sent to the graveyard, and then banish both Sunlight Wolves. And at this point, how do you really lose? I mean, they ran out of Sunlight Wolves. They're like neg 20 billion in card advantage off of a single trap card, which is searchable. Once again, man, like, I don't know, like 57% chance, I don't know, maybe I'm repeating myself, but this card is just beautiful. It's like only like $7 or something, but it could definitely like skyrocket to 20-ish or something. I mean, I'm talking in Canadian because I don't know the US currency. I mean, I do, but like really bad, and I don't really keep track of value on cards and anything, but anyways, I think this card is fantastic. You should get the copies of this card ASAP, because I will probably be playing it in Cyber Dragons. I think it's fantastic going second, and going first, it's still like, it's decent. So that's pretty much all I have to say for this card review on Ice Dragon's Prison. If you guys have any comments or feedback, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because it motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.